Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading. This is for October 5th through 11th. Remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we're opening the energy with the Creative Oracle card, and this one is Introspection. Introspection is often necessary to deepen our awareness of the unity and divinity of life. That's beautiful. I think that's going to be a good segue into a tarot reading, don't you? We're going to get started. We're going to do half of the reading with the Thoth deck and half of the reading with the Rider-Waite. Okay, so let's put some cards down here on the table. Well, we've got now our Lover's card. We have a Temperance card, or the Art card. We have the Four of Wands. We have a Five of Swords, Ten of Swords, Eight of Cups. All right, now for the Path of the Serpent, we're going to use the Rider-Waite pack. Okay, a little hybrid action here today. So we've got another Eight of Cups. Look at that. We've got a Three of Wands. We have the World. We have a Seven of Pentacles. Okay, Seven of Pentacles. It seems like this is a week for introspection, right? I feel like this is a week where we're starting to ask those questions like, what is working for us and what is not? And if it's not, why am I still working at it? You know, why am I still doing it if it's not working? Yeah. So I think this is going to be a good week for that, for recognizing things that, you know, we might have to change our plans a little bit. We might have to alter our techniques or our methods. I think we need to be able to look at something and understand, like, does it still matter for me? That introspection, especially I'm looking at you, Seven of Pentacles, because it's kind of asking, like, is what I'm doing still worth it? If this were not going to bear any fruit at all, would I still want to do it? You know, does this still mean something to me? So I think this is really a wonderful time for that. And I think it's really going to bring us closer together with what we're doing, with our person, or with our work, or with ourselves even, yeah? We've got that unity of that Lover's card. But let's select the mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor Infinite and Unknown. We're going to set this down right over here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments below, okay? Now, as we look around the room, we see major, and major arcana. We see some fire. We see some water, okay? We see some air, yes, we do, and we see our earth energy here at the end, okay? So we've got this Lover's card for you. This is a card of inspiration. This is the card of a choice. This is kind of a card that's saying, like, there are choices that need to be made, okay? This is the choice of union. It's kind of like what we are committing ourselves to, what we feel inspired to do. So I feel like for a lot of you this week is going to be like kind of, asking that question, like, am I still inspired to continue on a certain path? If it's a relationship, if it's your creative work, if it's your job, it might be saying, like, am I inspired here, or is this just work? Yeah. Because I do feel that there might be choices that have to be made this week. The choice of, do I stay or do I go? Do I continue? You know, is this still worth the effort? Okay. This is a card of kind of trusting your intuition. This is the card of using your intelligence also. You know, how we make decisions is very important right now. And how much are we willing to commit to the things that we're doing? This is usually a card of union, a card of commitment. For some of you, this is going to be a family thing. And it may just be kind of that idea of, like, do I still need to stay here and keep doing this? Is it still, because I feel like it's not easy. Whatever you're doing right now feels difficult. I mean, we've got the 4, the 5, we've got the 10, and you're kind of surrounded by what seems like maybe challenges or different opinions or, questions and maybe some kind of argumentative energy in your life. But then you've got this Lover's card that says, I'm still committed to this. I'm not going to go, and I'm not going anywhere. I think a lot of you are making that decision that says, look, it may be rough now, but I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to abandon this person, or I'm not going to leave this family situation. Maybe it's saying we need a little time out. We need a little bit. We need to be able to smooth things out a little bit. We need a little bit of a reprieve. But I feel like the basis of your commitment is still there for a lot of you, And of course, the choice is yours. This card is usually saying, like, we've got the introspection, right? To deepen your awareness of the unity. This is the card of unity. These two people are uniting, right? They're becoming one. They're kind of reaffirming their commitment to each other, and they're like renewing their vows, So for some of you, this is the realization that, your partnership may be rocky right now, but there's still love, there's still commitment there. And you're going to continue to be inspired and put in that work. Okay, your introspection right now is allowing you to fully realize, deepen your awareness of the unity. Deepen your awareness of the reasons why you're still here. If there were no rewards to reap, right? You certainly would have walked away by now. Shout out to Maynard and the gang. But what if those rewards are not readily apparent right now? So this is about you really digging deep and connecting with that deeper reason of why you're staying somewhere. Okay? Because it may feel right now that you're kind of like, it's almost like you're kind of like an oil and water thing where the two is just not mixing very well right now. And it may be a family thing, it may be at work, it may be with you and your flow. It may just be you by yourself trying to do the work that you do. Just feeling like I'm just kind of disconnected from this. Sometimes I do these readings and I just feel like I'm not really connecting with the cards, And I think we go through periods like that where we're still absolutely committed to what we're doing, but maybe it's a question of inspiration. Maybe it's a question of having that introspective energy in order to look and find the inspiration, to find that reason why I'm still here, to find what it is you love about this thing, about the work that you do, or your partner, or your spouse, or your family, or whatever that is, okay? So this might be a good time this week to sort of, to reconnect with that unity. Reconnect with the prophecy of your life that basically is saying, like, this is where you're supposed to be. And in times of stress and challenge and difficulty, it's important that we learn that to kind of, this is the strength that's going to see you through the challenging period that you might be in right now. Okay. We also have this Art or Temperance card here, which is kind of a combination of forces. Again, it's kind of another unity. And in a way, this is saying, like, we're trying to put two things together and make them work. So it's you with your job, you with your coworker, or your family, or your friend, or your spouse, or whatever. Right? We're trying to push two things together. We're trying to put two things in a room, and eventually they'll get along. Right now it might feel like a test. It might feel like an ordeal. Okay, there's something that needs to be refined. There's something that needs to be perhaps even resolved in your relationship. Okay, for some of you, this is going to be a romantic thing, for sure. Yeah, the Lover's card could be very much your lovers, right? Literally. For some of you, it's going to feel like your destiny, your sense of purpose. That we feel like there's some kind of a misalignment that needs to be resolved. Something needs to be smoothed over. There's a harmony that needs to be reestablished. Okay. This is the card of the pressure cooker. And it's a card really that's saying you're in a partnership now where you're being changed. You're also changing the other party, the other entity, the other person. Yeah. And it may really also, for some of you, be a card of in a way, compromise. Tempering your emotional reactions and stuff. Trying not to let the challenges you're facing right now get to you. So the Eight of Cups that we see, which we do see two of them, could really be like both of you kind of need to take a time out and just do some introspection on your own time. Kind of everybody goes back to their own corner for a while and just kind of calms down and chills out and allows things to settle a little bit before we come back to it. So if you are dealing with some kind of a stressful, maybe you're involved in a project that's very stressful, you can't figure out the solution or something. Maybe it's saying a little time out is gonna be good for you. Go do something else for a little while, come back to your project, and you'll have some fresh inspiration. Okay? We also have a Four of Wands down here underneath the surface. A Four of Wands is a card of completion. It's basically saying somehow we've got to wrap something up. For some of you, this is going to be a particular project that you're working on, whether it's at work, at home, at school, in the garden, or in the library, or whatever you're doing. It's kind of like something is unfinished, and we've got to just figure out a way to wrap it up. It's almost like you're writing a song, but you don't know how to do the ending, or you're making like a movie or like a film, or you're writing a book, and you just don't know how to wrap things up at the end. It's like you don't know how to tie up the loose ends and write the little conclusion, like write the epilogue and just kind of say it's done. It's completed now. I think for a lot of you, this is going to be, there are some lingering issues in your relationship that you need to have closure or a conclusion for. That there's been some kind of a disrespect, there's been some kind of a dishonesty or some kind of a misunderstanding or a confusion that needs to be reconciled. There's some imbalance here, and we just need to kind of have that conversation, or everybody apologizes, and it's just kind of, we can squash it. We can wrap it up finally, okay? This is also a card that is a kind of a rest energy. It's resting after a lot of hard work. I feel like some of you this week are going to find the solution to that song, that ending, that book. You're going to have that conclusion. It's going to allow you to kind of rest and kind of walk away and be done with something for now. I want to mention the Eight of Cups again quickly, because the Eight of Cups, it is a card of walking away from something, right? But I think it's walking away before we smash it, It's like take a break from your art project before you just like crumple up the paper and throw it away. Take a break before you start to really dislike what you're doing or who you're with. Okay, so sometimes we have to take a time out before we really start hating each other, And so I think that's a good card. The eights are good cards. I think it's really, if there is two of you here, both of you need to take a time out and go do something else for a little while. Go do something on your own or with your own friends, and then we can reconvene at a later date. Okay. The Four of Wands is a lot of things, and it's really good energy. I think a lot of you are going to finish some kind of a project or an enterprise or some kind of an assembly, or something is getting finished this week. And I think you're going to get a lot of like recognition for this. This is a card of popularity sometimes, and I think that you realize that if you finish this, it's really going to bring you a lot of recognition, a lot of notoriety, maybe even this is going to be like the product that you're going to start selling, or it's the project at work, and that once you get it done, it's really going to give you some accolades from the company or from the boss or from management or something. Maybe it's even like setting you up for a promotion or something like this, okay? But there's something in your life that needs to be needs to be concluded. There needs to be, you've been working hard at something, you got to find a way to tie up the loose ends to say, okay, I'm finished with it. And once something is done, it's like we don't want to go back to it and open up that can of worms again. You know, don't go back and start tinkering with something or editing it. Once it's done, you sort of put a stamp on it and you say it's done. Okay. So, it's kind of a card that says things don't have to be perfect, but they have to be, it has to be functional, and we have to be like able to sort of complete our task. And sometimes I see this card as like we have a whole bunch of tasks, and we're not getting to all the other tasks because we're stuck on the first one, and we're having a difficult time. We can start things, but we're having a difficult time finishing those things. Okay, so let's complete the things that we've started. If there's anything lingering in your life from last week, wrap it up this week. Okay. In terms of the relationship, I feel like this is a desire to just get things in a functional flow. Like things don't have to be perfect, but we have to be able to get along and function together. Okay, so it may not be the ultimate resolution of all of our issues, but it may be, you know, we have to at least compromise enough so that we can function together and maintain our life. You know, it's like you don't have to love your coworkers, but you got to get along enough that y'all can do your job and the company can go on, you know. So sometimes this is just finding out a system that is going to work for now, a temporary maybe solution even to some things. Okay. So a good week for all of that stuff. 5 of Swords back here is, you know, it's sometimes confusion. This is maybe asking questions. This could be a card even of a mistrust. You know, maybe we feel that there's somebody that hasn't been quite truthful with us. It may be a little bit of gossip, I guess we could call it. Okay, I think we got to be very careful with that, because what this is telling me is that a lot of the words that are being spoken this week are not going to necessarily be true, factual words. You may say things that you don't really feel or believe, and the other person might say things that they don't feel and believe. So let's be careful with that, because sometimes this is just spiteful. And sometimes it is that, you know, we're saying whatever we have to say in order to sort of win the competition, win the argument, or win the game, you know. So let's just be mindful of our speech right now. Yeah, I think for a lot of you too, this is a card of changing your mind, and maybe a lot of you have been entertaining other ideas about life. Yeah, thinking that, you know, maybe I want to go somewhere else and do something different. Maybe this isn't for me. It's a card of maybes. Yeah. It's a card, you know, maybe that kind of feels that we've lost some of our edge. We've lost some of our real desire to do it. It feels like we're out of the flow. What we really like is the 6. The 6 is the card of flow and harmony and beauty. And this is just like something feels kind of off. It may just be an off kind of week for you, Aquarius, you know? But it doesn't have to remain that way. And I think if we're feeling this off kind of energy, let's not jump to any conclusions. Let's not do anything drastic. Let's be introspective. And let's not try to blame other people. This isn't a week for playing that blame game. We're not trying to blame ourselves. We're not trying to blame other people. We're trying to be introspective, but we're trying to also be kind. So this is kind of an introspective card, but usually in a way that is not all that friendly to ourselves. You got to speak to yourself with kindness and love. Speak to other people in your life with kindness and compassion and love. Even if you're not really feeling it at the moment, try to at least be polite and cordial. And don't be so harsh with yourself either. Okay? Don't look for blame, but also be introspective enough to say it takes two to tango, and we all have some kind of a responsibility here. I do, you do, we all do. And we have to solve the problem together. So we may not be able to, at least in, let's say, your workplace. For some of you, this is going to be a group of people that aren't kind of getting along. And I think that the kind of high road here is the ability to say, look, we don't all have to get along right now, but we've got to figure out a way to work together until we can figure out, kind of a more long-term plan. We might be looking this week for more like short-term solutions in order just to get through a kind of a negative spell or get through a little rough patch. And it may just be like stay out of each other's way this week. And then next week, maybe revisit energies and see what things are like, and maybe things have flowed on a little bit further. Okay. But you also have a Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords, to me, it's kind of a new feeling that I've been getting with the Ten of Swords, that sometimes we just have to laugh at things, because this is kind of like, this is the realization that something is just so pointless right now that it's almost comical. Yeah. I feel like there is a resolution that's happening for a lot of you, and especially when we kind of go with our Four of Wands as well. I feel like whatever the misunderstanding is, or whatever the slight is that we feel, or the disrespect, or the mistrust, or the whatever it is, I kind of feel like once you realize what really happened, it's kind of like we're all going to laugh about it. And maybe you're saying, yeah, right, how dare you say that? But I think at the end of the day, it's going to seem kind of silly. Whatever you've been worried about or arguing about, it's going to seem like relatively insignificant. Okay. This is a card of usually like a bird cage. Okay. It's usually a card that says something in our lives is no longer nourishing for us, and we need to leave it alone. It's a dry, desiccated situation. There's nothing left here for us. This is a pointless and meaningless situation, and I'm walking away from it completely. I'm leaving it alone, I'm escaping from this torturous kind of thing. And I think that maybe this is a little bit too extreme for you right now. I think maybe Spirit's trying to say, wait a minute, like this isn't something to completely like abandon your work over. This isn't something that's so significant that you're going to leave your relationship. Okay. I feel like this card is us making way more out of this than it really needs to be. And maybe at first glance, with your first impulse, it feels like this is this is it. This is the deal breaker, the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah. But I think the cards are saying, like, give it some time. Take a time out. Walk away temporarily. And then come back to something and see if it really is, if it really is over for good, or if it was just like you just were kind of up in your feelings about something. Okay. So the 10 is a pretty serious card. But I also feel that there is a revelation coming. There's a new light that's about to dawn on your situation. So looking at this bird's eye view of the cards, it feels like Spirit's trying to say, keep doing the work. Don't leave. Stay doing what you're doing. Give it a little more time. Take a time out, maybe, take a break, walk away, cool off. But don't abandon anything yet. Give it a little bit more time and see if it's going to change its change its tone for you. Okay. I think this is a week of trying not to take everything too seriously and adding in a little bit of humor. If you can laugh at yourself or laugh at your situation, it might put it into perspective. Regardless of what you're doing, if there's love and romance, if it's work, if it's friends, family, whatever you're doing, take a break for laughter. Take a little, we need a little, what do they call it, comic relief right now, okay? And I think that's going to put things into a different perspective for you. Now we're going to talk about this Eight of Cups. Well, we have both of these Eight of Cups, actually. So this is, this is a card of abandoned success. This is us renouncing something and saying, I'm giving it up and I'm leaving. I'm out of here, right? And it's kind of like, if we think of we're abandoning something, it could be very successful. This could be, the impulse to walk away from something before it bears fruit. And I think it's because there's a distrust there. Because we're sort of withdrawing from something that in this moment doesn't feel good. And I think that this doesn't have to be permanent, this is like somebody who's like frustrated with they're trying to make they're trying to make something, like you're trying to make a song, right? And you're trying to get it just right, and it's just getting more frustrating. So we just say, you know what, I'm done, I quit, I don't even want to do music anymore. And you get up and you walk away. You say, I'm done, I'm leaving it, I'm never going to do music ever again. Or, like my daughter when she falls off her bike. Oh, breaks my heart. She's 5. It's going to happen, right? But, she fell off her bike not too long ago. And she scraped up both of her knees. And she said, I'm done, I quit, I hate riding bikes, I never want to ride a bike ever, ever again. And she says, get rid of the bike. And so we walked away from the bike. And we went and we sat down and we had a drink of water and we kind of took the helmet off. We cooled off a little bit. And then as a little bit more time went by, she realized that she wasn't going to give up riding her bike. That she wasn't just going to abandon all of the success that she'd already built. She'd already come a long way riding her bike. She's already gained a lot. She wasn't going to walk away from all of that. She certainly wasn't going to walk away from all the potential success that she was going to experience down the road, So I think that this card is like telling you, take a time out. You're not going to give up all the success that you've made already. You're not just going to abandon what you've built. And you're not going to abandon everything that you're going to build. So just take a little time out. Take a comedic break. Go do something else for a little while to cool down and calm down. Okay? Feel like something in your life is maybe frustrating you to the max this week. Don't do anything impulsive. Don't abandon anything. Some of you might even just be feeling a general kind of like exhaustion or like even a burnout or kind of a loss of heart in what you're doing. It's just like, I'm just not feeling inspired. If you're not feeling inspired this week, Aquarius, that's okay. It just means we've gotten out of the flow state. Go walk away, do something else. Don't try to force yourself to stay there and keep doing it when you're not in the flow state, because you're going to develop negative associations with that work. And then every time you think about going and doing it, you're going to get that dread, So you're out of the flow, go do something else for a while. Go watch something silly on TV. Go put on another one of those Dove and Serpent tarot readings, okay? And then come back to it at another time and see how it is. But you're not going to abandon all the success that you've seen already. I think this is something for you that's already borne a lot of fruit. Whether it's a relationship or your job or your art or whatever, your dreams, your goals. And so the Eight of Cups is very, very important, because then we have the Eight of Cups over here too. Kind of got a double shot of the Eight of Cups. So I think that there is a tendency right now toward this kind of exhaustion, depression, burnout. Maybe you feel like some of your work has been stagnating, okay? And there's just kind of a heaviness to it. And what we see in this card, we see the Hermit walking away, right? By the way, hit the like button if you haven't yet. That'll help to push this video out to everybody that needs to see it. Okay, you're doing everybody else a favor when you hit that like button, and I appreciate it too because it helps my channel. Yeah, so thank you. What we see here is the Hermit walking away from all those cups, but didn't kick them over, didn't smash them, didn't sell the bike. You didn't sell your keyboard or like break it over your knee and say, I'm done with my electronic music. No, you left it standing. It's your relationship, it's your job, it's whatever it is. You left it there fine. You didn't destroy it. You didn't burn the bridge. But you had to walk away for a minute. This is like when you're frustrated, you go into the bathroom at work and you just kind of sit there, put some cold water on your face and you take a breather. You pace around the bathroom a little bit and you collect yourself. Okay. We may be making many trips to the bathroom this week. That's okay. You do what you got to do to kind of to regulate yourself, yeah. But you're not permanently walking. You're not abandoning anything. You're not renouncing anything or saying, I'm done, that's it. No, it's maybe I'm just feeling burned out. And you need something else to go do to take your mind off of whatever this, whatever it is. To see if we're going to feel that inspiration again. To find out how, maybe we got to go out and get inspired. I think for some of you, this is going to be just go out and have fun. I know have fun. What? We got 8, we got 5, 10, 8 of, oh gosh, this doesn't look like a fun reading at all, does it? Well, it needs to be. Sometimes when you get so-called bad cards in a tarot reading, it means we better do something about this, right? So humor, first of all. Tell some jokes. Watch something funny on TV. There's all these stand-up specials on Netflix or whatever. Watch the funny podcasts here on YouTube. There's a lot of stuff. Go out and do something that's going to make you feel better. Yeah, go treat yourself. Go spend time with your pets, your plants, your people. Have other experiences in life that maybe will inspire you a little bit. It maybe will bring you out of a little bit of that depressive energy, the heaviness. Okay, will maybe renew or uplift your spirit. This is a week for not letting ourselves sink further into a despair or a depression. We don't want our 8 of Cups to become a 9 of Swords, do we? No, we don't. I hope that's not the mystery card. Fingers crossed. So go do something this week that's going to uplift your spirits. And it might even inspire you, give you some fresh ideas or kind of, give you that sense of like renewed energy or vigor. And we'll go right back to the pressure cooker, right back to the lab, right back to the studio or whatever it is. And we'll make some magic, okay? Now, we also have a 3 of Wands here. Virtue, self-respect, integrity. Pride and nobility, right? This is someone who is firm. This is somebody that knows what they're doing and knows the right thing to do. So this is your integrity. This is you not smashing your toys, not selling your bicycle or breaking your keyboard over your knee. This is you kind of stepping away, doing what you got. You're being an adult, right? And you're doing the right thing. It's not always easy to be an adult. Trust me, it's not easy. Because, as adults, sometimes we want to I just want to give up on things. So I'm done, But we don't. We do the right thing. So right here, there's that self-respect. There's that virtue. Saying, I'm strong enough. I know that this is a temporary thing. I know that whatever we're feeling this week is a temporary feeling. I think that you love something. You're committed to something so much, whether it's your business. Sometimes this is just like when your business, you have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month for your business, you feel like you want to just give the whole thing up. You're saying, I'm done with it. But your self-respect, your pride, your virtue, and your integrity is saying, I've made a commitment and I'm going to walk away for a day or two or whatever if I have to. I'm going to go scream into a pillow, but I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to kick some butt. I'm going to do it, you know. And so this is that nobility, and I feel like you really recognize that this is yours. This is something for you. I think this is what you're meant for. I feel like you're fulfilling the prophecy of your life. You're fulfilling your destiny. And I feel like it's just now a matter of like coming back into alignment with that destiny. I feel for a lot of you there's been some turbulence. I mean, this is turbulent. We're not going to sugarcoat it. It's been turbulent. But in all of that turbulence, you have maintained your commitment and your integrity. And that is everything. Sometimes when everything else seems like it's going wrong, all you have is your virtue. All you have is your integrity left, your self-respect. That's self-respect, right? That's kind of the joke. It's like that's the last thing they take from you is your self-respect, yeah. We make jokes, but it is a serious thing. But you're doing the right thing. And sometimes the right thing is taking a time out or, bringing some kind of fresh energy into the picture, trying to look at it a little bit more lightheartedly, trying not to be so serious about it and sort of doing whatever we have to do to get inspired again. Because we see our world card and we see our Seven of Pentacles. The world is saying that, look, there is maybe a delay going on in some of your success, if this is a career thing. And you'll have to stick around for the extended reading because we are going to clarify love and we are going to clarify money, okay? And we'll do the yes/no coin too. So stick around for that. But this is a card that's saying your progress may have been very slow right now. This may be a delay. This may be like it's been really difficult for you to persist, but you've been persisting. And I think this is the promise of all of the gold, all of the success, all of the achievements and the accomplishments that are out there for you. And it may seem that it's kind of far away right now, but what you're doing will bear fruit. Okay? We just are having a little bit of a rough patch. That's okay. Step away, refresh your energy, get inspired again, come back to it because all of this success is yours. This is the crystallization of your goals. What you're doing is going to work. But sometimes it seems like it's taken too long or things are out of harmony, things are delayed, there's some opposition. It feels like right now there's just like an inertia. I just feel a heaviness. It's just hard for me to get up and get moving. All of that kind of signals we need a refresh. I want the Fool card as the mystery card. Yeah, what do you think? Because I feel that this is all pointing toward we need a reset. We need like an emotional, physical, a mental, a refresh. So it might just be that you need to do something in your life to refresh that energy. Go do something fun. Take a personal day. Go do something that is just that is pleasurable, inspiring, something that's going to motivate you. Maybe it's just saying you need to take a rest, I feel like if you have been very patient, I think a lot of this energy is saying that your patience is almost gone. So before it goes poof and it vanishes, take a step away, okay, from whatever you need to this week. Yeah. Now, our final card here is that Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is someone who has got that discipline and is working hard, is back at it, even though it's not necessarily treating you any better. You know what I mean? You take this reset and this refresh type of vibe and you come back to what you're doing. But it doesn't mean that suddenly now all the fruit is there. You're coming back and the situation is still the same as it was before, right? But your energy is different. Okay, and I think that now that your energy is different, you're coming back to this with a refreshed energy, okay, or let's say more inspired or just well-rested. Yeah, you're going to have more an effect on the situation. Yeah. The success now is going to come through your labor and your patience. But if your patience is gone, if you're not inspired, if you've lost your motivation, okay, if you're not feeling very hopeful about things, well, then nothing's going to bear fruit. It's not going to work. We remember that the art card is alchemy. So your vibes are going to affect how that, how the garden grows, right? So I think this is really very clear message here. It really seems pretty straightforward, you know, that we take care of our energy now, and as we return to this, this is going to bear fruit now, okay? Because the Seven of Pentacles is also saying that, look, the success is only going to come because of your patience, your labor, your commitment, your hope, your motivation. You've got to be inspired. You've got to persevere. You've got to be methodical and realistic. You've got to be determined. You've got to be faithful. Yeah. You've got to be 1,000%, yes, I'm here and I'm doing it. And if that energy is starting to fizzle a little bit, well, you're out of the flow state. Go do something else. You know, fix yourself, right? Come back, and you'll be in the flow state. So that's the week. Yeah, let's look at our mystery card. I want Fool, I want Empress, I want Universe again. I would take any of the Pentacles, any of them probably. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Ace of Wands. You know what the Ace of Wands is? Inspiration. The Ace of Wands is a renewed motivation, a renewed vigor. It's willpower, it's force and fire, it is an interest, it's a natural return of our vitality. This is exactly that reset that we need. Maybe we didn't need the Fool, because the Fool is so, maybe has this refresh and then kind of forgot what they were doing anyway, right? Because it's a Fool. But this is like you're coming back in supercharged. You're coming back in motivated. You're coming back in with new ideas, with a spark, with a fire burning, you know, inside of you, with a strength, with a rush of, you know, this kind of natural enthusiasm. And it might even be like you've got a lot of fresh ideas, a lot of good, this kind of enterprising spirit is sort of entering the situation. Yeah. So I feel like that really sums up the reading here. It's like we kind of lost our mojo. This week, go out, get your mojo, take your mojo back to what you're doing, and kick some butt, make some progress. Yeah, I like it. And now I want you to click on through to the extended reading. There's a join button right there, Aquarius. I thank you, I love you, and I'll see you over there.